Hey, good morning. It's Dr. Bill Williams, and it's Labor Day 2020. And I want to talk to you today about love, faith, and trust, and maybe the Kentucky Derby. See, as I've been a dentist for 45 years, one of the things that I focused on was how to meet my patients where they are. And I always try to figure out, what it is that this patient needs, what is it that they want, what can I do for them? And I always come back to the question of, how long does it take to fall in love? How long does it take for them to have the faith in me to do what's right for them? How do they get the trust to choose me in the first place as their doctor, and then the trust to go ahead and do the work that's needed? And that's just as a dental patient, that's just me as a dentist working with patients. But I've been a dental coach for 35 years in addition, and I've been essentially a life coach for people, having them change their mindset from being more of a pessimist to being an optimist based on working through some issues. And we've been working with people in the financial area also, creating multiple sources of income, giving them an opportunity for a better return on investment. It's important to have a good ROI for the things that we invest in, not just in our money, but our time. And so I'm looking for a way to help people in all walks of life, not just as a doctor and a dentist. And so I want to relate a technique, a story that I use to meet my patients where they are, to help them grow to the next level, to do better and to be healthier, to have healthy longevity. It takes just a certain amount of time to fall in love, right? If you can get an instant rapport with somebody, they trust you, they have faith that you can do the work that they need, then it makes things much smoother. And we go through a process in our office, and I like to sit down with people and interview them before I get started doing any work. It's easy for me to look in their mouth and go, oh, I understand what you need, let's do this. But that won't work. That's not something people want, is to be told what to do. They want to be heard. They want to have the feeling that somebody understands them, that they know more about them before they build that trust and that faith in their doctor. Well, it's the same way when I work with my clients that are dentists and other professionals that I help with their practice management, their business management, because I work with them on marketing, communication, and leadership. And what happens when we start talking is that they start to unfold a story. It almost becomes like I'm a life coach, and we're changing their mindset to what's possible. It's really important to change people from being pessimistic to being optimistic, to have an outlook on life that there is abundance, not scarcity. And so I work with the patients, and I work with the business owners, and I work with the individuals. As a financial consultant, I might say, okay, you need multiple sources of income. And that's what I've been doing for the last 10 years, is helping people figure out what's the best next step to increase their return on investment for the money they do have to invest. And so we always look at their overall picture and say, okay, how can we meet your needs? And when we understand their needs, we can make a suggestion. And that's the whole point, is you need to understand before you recommend things to a patient, to a business, to an individual. So I talk to my friends all the time about, what is it about money that's bothering you? And a lot of them tell me it's like they're not free yet. Their kids are still on the line, helping them get their life started, buying houses, doing things, finishing up their college education. My older friends still have a lot of issues. They're paying for their parents in the nursing homes, they're paying for their kids in the college, and they're squeezed. They don't have enough retirement set up maybe to do all the things they need to do and have a comfortable lifestyle. They may be a little better off, but they see more needs they'd like to help meet. In other words, they'd like to do more for their church, they'd like to do more for their community, go on missions, but they feel like maybe I can't because I can't leave my job. I can't quite stop working and take time off to do these good projects that I'd like to do. And so I have older friends that have those problems. Then there's younger business people, dentists, others that haven't even gotten started with a retirement plan. They're 40 years old, 45 years old, they haven't even started a plan because they just never had enough to catch up. There's some that are younger that are in their 30s, they don't even have a home, they just rent. So it's always outgo and never building up any equity. So there's always something going on financially that people need an answer. And so that's one way we've been able to help people. I want to put a smile on people's faces with an idea. And so I want to talk about Onpassive with you guys today because I want to help you personally have a business that succeeds where you get more traffic to your business so you can have more revenue, more profits. I want to have a technique to add to your family so you have less stress in your family and more profits to spend, more money to spend in your family. And finally, I want to share with you the mindset shift to go from that pessimistic place that many people live to the optimist place where I live, where a lot of my friends live once they've seen the other side of the coin. You just have to flip the coin over and look at the other side because there's always two sides to every situation. And if you take the optimist side, you're always better off. People are not always trying to take advantage of you. Sometimes they're trying to help you. And a lot of people don't realize that. They don't understand this good altruistic means and wishes that a lot of people have towards them. So let's look at the Kentucky Derby. You know, that's a 2,200 yard or 1.25 mile race. The race horses go and they are in the first leg of the Triple Crown, right? And think about being in the starting gate. You're in the race. You're on your steed. Your steed is called Onpassive. Yes, we're going to call your steed Onpassive because this is a game. It's a race to the finish. And how many more days do you have to live? How many more months? How many years are you going to be on Earth? Well, we don't know, but we do know it's a race to the finish. And let's look at the Kentucky Derby and the race to the finish and what Onpassive could mean to that particular race. I'm going to break it down into 3 different segments, this race. We're going to have first 10 yards, second 100 yards, and the third 2,090 yards to make it a total of 2,200 yards. And there's certain things you want to do at each place in the race. Things you need to focus on. If you're the rider, we're on the steed, so we're going to take that racehorse, that race steed around the track one time. We have one life, one time. So how are we going to run that race? Well, listen, if you're just going to be a one-trick pony, in other words, you're going to have one position in Onpassive and you're going to go around the track once, let's give that an arbitrary value of $100,000. That bird must like the $100,000. Okay, I agree. Now, if the $100,000 means a lot to you, then you're going to win that. $100,000 for that bird is much more than he can spend. So, hopefully he'll understand that that's not necessary to interfere with our video too much longer. We'll see. $100,000 for one trip around the racetrack for one of your Onpassive steeds. Now, are you on a horse or are you on a unicorn? That's kind of the question we're going to come up to. You know, what are you actually riding? What is the capability of your horse? You know, the best horse in the world that ever ran the Kentucky Derby was Secretariat in 1 minute and 59 seconds. That was the world record, still stands, from 1973. If that's the case, the fastest horse was Secretariat. I would wager to say that the unicorn you're riding, called Onpassive, is going to beat that time by a lot. It's going to become a unicorn faster than most any other company. And so let's talk about the thing you do in the first 10 yards to make a difference. Instead of riding that one horse all the way around, I'm going to suggest that you get 3 friends to go with you, and you're going to have 3 different steeds, 3 unicorns riding instead of just year 1. You add 3 and that's 4. And so because you got them to come in the race, you're going to get the prize money. Now they'll get prize money too, but you're going to get the prize money. And so instead of getting $100,000, you're going to get $400,000 when all of you finish the race. And it just takes going around the track one time to finish the race. So that's the first 10 yards. If you do that, you'll increase your winnings by 4 times. But what happens if those next 4 people that you and that other 3 got in, what happens if those guys get help from Onpassive too? So you're going to multiply things out quite a bit. When Onpassive starts the marketing campaign and you already have 4 people in, it's not going to be just you by yourself. It's going to be you and your 3 friends plus what Onpassive helps you do. And so over the next 100 yards, which is the marketing campaign time, which comes in before the launch to the public, Onpassive is going to do some pretty fantastic things for us. They're going to give us more unicorns to race on our team. In other words, you might have, instead of just 3 or 4, you're going to have 12. And as the thing grows, you might have 40. You might have 100 on your team as you go into the launch. Now, if you have a team of 12, that would move you up to 1.2 million if you get 100,000 per steed, per unicorn that finishes the race. Think about that. Leverage. Now, as you go into the back stretch and you're going to enter the 2,090 yards that's left after the launch starts, that's when the real magic happens, because that's when Onpassive starts putting in customers, resellers and customers under you. And that means they're adding to your group of unicorns going around the track. And so you may have 12 times 40, 12 times 100. So your income might go from 1.2 million to 4 million to 50 million, depending on how many people is in your group. Over a lifetime, the value of running that race is going to escalate by the more horses or unicorns you have in the race. Does that make sense? Now, as you go down the back stretch of the Kentucky Derby, the crowd noise is deafening. It's loud. Everybody's rooting for their horse to win. But you're already a winner because you're on Onpassive. You already know you're a winner. And all the people with you are winners. You're not going to be a loser in this race. You've already won because you started the race. Those who are not founders are not all automatically winners, but all the founders are automatically winners. See, down the back stretch, Onpassive is going to add products and platforms on top of what we already know about. And so we're going to have more products, more platforms, more opportunities for people to get more purchases, and they're all going to be in your group. And so this unicorn becomes $1 billion value quickly, a multiple $1 billion value over a lifetime. And so the back stretch is definitely loud. The cheering is amazing. You hear it all. But what happens when you take the final turn toward the home stretch? What happens as you come down toward the finish line? Well, you've already won. You already know that. There are no worries. There's only the dream. You see the vision. You see the faces of your family. You see the grandchildren. You see your son or your daughter. And you know that they're taken care of. You know that all the noise from the stands, it goes away because you have peace. You see everything that's there, and you understand the finish line is over here, and you ride peacefully to the finish line. No matter whether you're in first, second, or third place, you're going to be the winner, and you're going to have financial success, time success, and freedom from stress. That's the key. The most valuable thing we can have is a life of happiness and freedom from stress. And so, my friends, that's the message of riding the horse called Onpassive, the unicorn we call Onpassive. Let me tell you a story about my 50th birthday party. You know, 20 years ago I turned 50. I call it the halfway there party, and I celebrate healthy longevity. You know, for the longest time, I reveled in the fact that I didn't have to take a pill, didn't have to have a surgery, didn't have to have a need to be in the treatment for some problem. This year I actually had some Mohs surgery on my forehead to take away some basal cell tumor, and I had some heart treatments just to regulate the electrical signal. So, you know, I really can't say I've never been to the doctor, but at this point I'm totally healthy and not really having to deal with anything major. And so I celebrate and thank God for being healthy. And so that's really one of the most important things we can do, is to maintain our health. And it certainly helps to be healthy, to be wealthy. And so to me, the saying, be healthy, wealthy, and wise, they all go together. If you want to be healthy, you need to be wealthy. That's wise. Because it takes money sometimes to get through the medical system, right? It takes money to avoid some of the problems. And so stress comes from having some extra money to share with your family, to spend on the necessities of life when you get older. You don't want to be in a nursing home at the low end of the scale, not being taken care of very well. You know, you want the best care of medical or nursing care that you can have as you get older. And we think about that as we get older, don't we? And so it's important that we do something now. And, you know, the question I always ask people is, are you in love with the idea that we talked about of having enough to be able to give to your family? Do you trust the person who's sharing with you these things? Do you have the faith that it can happen for you? If you don't have the faith that it can happen for you, you know, why try? But I want to restore the faith. I want to change you from being a pessimist to being an optimist. And I think if you just look at the opportunity, you know, it's only $97 money back guaranteed to be a founder in Onpassive right now. As soon as the marketing campaign starts, that goes away and the fee goes up, and, you know, when it goes launched to the public, there is no more founder position available. So it makes sense to do that joining of Onpassive's Go Founder group right now. It makes sense to do it before it goes away. I mean, why would anybody not do it? Because if it's a money back guarantee, you could ride the horse all the way around, and if you don't like it, you can jump off the horse anytime. It's the first 10 yards that we're fixing to start today. Pre-marketing campaign is today until it starts, which could be any day now. We don't have a day identified as to what day we're actually going to push the button to start the campaign. So I can't say it's going to be in 2 days or 6 days. All I can say is any day now. And so if you'll join us for 97 right now, you're in. If you don't, you wait till the marketing campaign start, you'll be in the second 100 yards. You can jump on the horse, but you won't have a full race. You'll miss that first 10 yards, which is a big building time. So if you're a builder and an influencer, I want to encourage you to jump in right now. Don't wait. If you're interested, well, get back to the person who shared this video with you. It may not be me, maybe somebody you know. Go with them. Those are the people who care about you. So go with them. But if you don't have anybody and you want to be mentored by me to become a Onpassive millionaire, well, that's kind of what I do. That's one of my side gigs. That's one of my things that will be, I think, my main gig for the next 10 years, helping people become Onpassive millionaires. Why is that? Because I believe in it. I trust, and I'm really in love with the idea that we can have a company that helps all the people, the 97% of people that join, not just the 3% at the top. This is a company for everybody. This is a company worth investigating and investing in. A little bit invested now is going to mean a lot when you finish that race in the end. It's Dr. Bill Williams on Labor Day. I hope you have a wonderful, safe weekend, and I'll see you on the next video. Don't forget, sign in with the link that you'll find close by, maybe down below, maybe over here on the side, Wherever that link is, you find it, jump in, become one of the Go founders in Onpassive, and you'll never regret that decision you made on Labor Day 2020.